Okay, Guardians, big news in the world of Destiny. In a special stream, Bungie have unveiled a number of huge changes coming to the game. I'm going to get into a lot of detail here and cover everything I feel is relevant from the stream, but if you want the short version, here it is.
The vision for Destiny going forward is pretty simple. It's an awesome action MMO in a single evolving world that you can play anywhere. By playing anywhere, that means cross-save across all of our platforms. We have a new platform that we're adding this year, Stadia. We have a new entry point for the game called Destiny 2 New Light, which is free. And everything we add to the game is going to be purchased a la carte going forward. So Shadowkeep, Season 8. Let's say in Season 8 we start to lay the foundation for some changes we want to make to PvP, but it doesn't tempt you to come back yet. Well, maybe in Season 9 we'll have something that's going to make you want to come back for sure. No more exclusives going forward for us in terms of gameplay and armor and weapons, and if you're playing the game on PC, we're moving you to Steam.
Okay, still here? Let's dig in. A new expansion is on the horizon called Shadowkeep, and it's set to drop this fall. We'll be heading back to the moon where the Hive have continued to build condos on the lunar surface. Familiar face Eris Morn is in the trailer, so expect her to be a focus of the story. Details are scarce-ish, but there's a hint that Crota might be making a comeback, as the Dark Below raid gets mentioned. We'll get a bit more into story later, but there will be new missions, raids, and potentially strikes. Oh, and of course, some new gear. My guess would be to expect Eris' scout rifle, Touch of Malice, to potentially make a comeback. The biggest change announced, and by far the one I'm the most excited about, is cross-save. This fall, you'll be able to access your Guardian from any platform. So, if all your friends have moved from Xbox to PC, you too can make the jump without re-grinding a whole new character, and I assume without having to rebuy all the expansions.
Cross-save is coming to Destiny 2 finally, and we're super excited about that. What cross-save is, it is about taking Guardians that you've created and being able to play them on any platform. Cross-save is coming to all platforms, all of them, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Stadia. Bungie and Sony are working together to ensure that cross-save is coming to PS4 when Shadowkeep launches.
We wanted cross-save before we shipped Destiny 2, right? Like a bunch of it was built. We just couldn't get there for capital R reasons. And many of those reasons have disappeared. So we are headed full steam ahead on that, and we got to figure out how we're going to get there and how we're going to give the players what they want.
D2 is also coming to Stadia. Stadia, if you're unfamiliar, will let you stream games through any Chrome browser, assuming you've got a beefy enough internet connection to handle it. Google supercomputers will do the heavy lifting, so don't sweat it if you don't have a $2,000 gaming rig. That is, of course, provided Stadia actually works. According to the devs, cross-save was something that they wanted from the very beginning of T2, but weren't able to do for, quote, reasons. Activision. Other changes include an end to exclusive content, which means no more PlayStation exclusives. Period.
Going forward and beginning this fall.
Single community of players where everyone can be together, but you're like, well, let's play this strike. Oh, sorry, I don't have that strike on my box.
So we want to remove those barriers, and now going forward, there's going to be no more exclusive activity content, no exclusive gameplay things like exotic weapons. We're not doing any of that stuff going forward.
Destiny will also be moving to Steam, and all the content you purchase will make the jump. No need to buy anything over.
Destiny 2 is going to be coming to Steam. And this means that anyone currently playing Destiny 2, they're going to be able to come over to Steam, free of charge. They're going to continue their accounts. They're going to continue all their possessions. Going to move over. Any licenses they had, any DLC, like whatever, it all comes over. And Shadowkeep, the D2 expansion that's coming out this fall, is going to be shipping exclusively on Steam this year.
D2 is also going free to play. The devs are calling this New Light, and it'll make all of the content and expansions, Forsaken and Shadowkeep aside, free to play when the new expansion drops September 17th. I'll let them explain.
Once you enter New Light, in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you now arrive at the part of the game that matters to you and your friends, where you're like jumping into Gambit, Crucible, etc. This is about crushing the barriers between friends and making it a game where you're like, there's something awesome happening in Destiny, I'm gonna go check it out. And New Light's totally free.
Work! You're alive!
You started in the Cosmodrome.
You're going back.
Going back. Yeah, blast from the past.
Okay, it's not going to break orbit, but it just might get us to the city.
It's as easy as come in, make a character, play the amazing introduction to the game. and then land in the tower.
And then we'll set them loose to open up the world as they see fit.
And
You can just start playing the game and get into some of the same activities that your friends might be playing. The campaigns from D to Year One, the Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind.
Every world we have will be available for them to explore and to free roam and to do bounties on. Every cooperative strike, whether they're playing with friends or matchmaking, every competitive multiplayer map.
The D2 Year 1 raids like Leviathan.
Full access to Gambit, the hybrid mode that we have. All these things are available to them for nothing.
Game, right? So it's not just some subsection portion of it. It's the full breadth of content that you get as Destiny players. So you get access to strikes, you get access to all destinations, you get to free roam, you get to look for lost sectors, you get to play all that content that's been out there in the world that you've been playing a ton of, right?
Right.
For free, which is really cool for us. I think that's a really exciting change.
Yeah, we have a system that we're building that will unlock destinations over time, but it's not going to be very, very long, right? One of our goals there is so that the world doesn't feel so overwhelming, right? So we're not trying to like lock content. We're trying to make it ease players into our world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it can be very daunting just loading into the tower, bring up your map again. It's like, oh, there's 17 things here.
Yeah, exactly.
What do I do? Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
the thing you were talking about there, where how do you get to Mars, right? You start after you do the Cosmo mission, you go to Tower, and you have access to EDZ. You play that for a little bit. We haven't tuned exactly how long you'll play, but it's probably not very long. And then you'll start, as you complete bounties and other activities, you'll quickly unlock other destinations. So you'll probably be in Mars in like a couple hours. There's Tangled Shore and Dreaming City, you can go there. We actually want you to be able to explore all destinations. So we mentioned that you'll unlock destinations over time. You'll see that, Dreaming City, Tangled Shore, and actually the Moon as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Shadowkeep. And you'll see all the destinations, you'll be able to play all that stuff. And what will happen is we're giving you all of that access. But then if you wanted to, like say you play Shadowkeep and you really like the raid content, you really enjoyed the way that feels with your friends, or you really like story missions, if you want to go back and play the Forsaken story campaign or any of the Forsaken raids, like Last Wish or the dungeons in Forsaken as well, then the Forsaken package is available to buy, and that's a separate thing.
Okay.
But all the destinations are available to you at all times.
They'll be progressing new players through the vanilla campaign and then through Warmind and Curse of Osiris if they choose to play that content. You'll be able to visit locations from Forsaken and Shadowkeep, but not do story missions. My guess is you'll free roam, do patrols, lost sectors, public events, etc. But buy in only if you want the story missions and related exotics and legendaries. But what about the annual pass? Well, it's a pretty good time to get in on it since you can now get the pass and Forsaken for $40, as well as the base game and all the Year 1 content. Wait a couple of months and you get all the content besides the pass and Forsaken with New Light for free.
Is Forsaken and the annual pass getting a price drop? Do I need them to play Shadowkeep?
Yeah, so what we're doing starting today is that everything that we've released in Destiny 2 up until now, so base Destiny 2 game, the expansions, Forsaken, and the annual pass, that's all being bundled together and dropped to just $40.
They'll also be making some changes to the annual pass, letting you pick which season you buy into. No word on how much it'll cost per season, but going forward you won't be asked to sign up for content you haven't gotten any details about. A good move since with things like Black Armory, many of us bought into content that we weren't high level enough to play.
There were a lot of things that I liked personally about the annual pass, but asking people to pre-purchase $35 up front of a year of content when we didn't even announce what the name of some of the seasons were, I think is not as cool as it could be. Like it's better if you can wait and once you watch the trailer, once you hop in and see some of the content yourself, then decide if you want to buy in. And so each of the seasons will be available. But we also want to make sure if you jump into Shadowkeep, we're not immediately putting our hand back out asking for more money. So Shadowkeep is going to give you season 8 or whatever season it is starting then. For free as part of that.
So if I buy Shadowkeep in like January and it's season 10 or whatever, I would get season 10 as well.
Yeah, you'll just get that season.
At least this way you can wait and see if a season is worth getting in on. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts changes. The devs want to bring more RPG elements to Destiny. Now, they didn't say much more than deeper build customization and, quote, adding stats to the game.
Two things. The first part where we're lacking right now, and we've been getting better, Forsaken certainly adds to it, is improving the RPG.
Yeah, we really, want deeper build customization for our players.
So a bunch of what we're doing this fall is going to be about adding the stats back into the game, RPGing the game more than it was. And D2 launched away, Forsaken improved it, and we think Shadowkeep's going to take that kind of to the next level. The second part about what we mean when we say RPG is really important to us. It's about improving social. Like, this is a place where it can be hard to find grouping, it can be hard to make friends in Destiny, and what we've been saying for years as we've been like dodging the MMO term is like it's a game best played with your friends. And so this is one of the things that on the long horizon of the Destiny franchise, like, we have to improve the social game.
They did mention new changes to armor though.
Right now in the game, if you have an armor set that you like the look of, but you have another armor set that you like the way it plays, you're probably going to pick the one that you like the way it plays.
Armor 2.0 is focused on allowing you to take the mods that you've unlocked and apply them to any given piece of armor.
When I move my cursor over one of these mod sockets, it immediately shows me all of the mods that are available to me.
And the addition of artifacts, though it's unclear what those will mean exactly. I'm not sure if it's just a cosmetic thing or if it'll have any mechanical function, but it looks like they're adding in finishing moves, acrobatic flourishes for Guardians to use to X enemies in style. Looks pretty good. Now, the remainder of relevant info covers PvP, the story, and the new raid. Let's get into story. Now, some say that going back to the moon is retreading old ground and recycling old content. Here's how the game's director, Luke Smith, responded.
What do you say to those people? Recycled content, by the way. So what do you say to them?
I know that you talked to Ben and Catherine earlier, and that I don't remember if they exactly talked about, like, when we take something like a planet and bring it back, like the moon, we're going to update it to the latest context and change the world. And there's a bunch of like cool Easter eggs and stuff and Out of the Shadows for people. But the other thing that I want to address here with your question is, like, how does something like bringing a destination back fit into the overall vision for Destiny going forward, where we have made all kinds of awesome stuff in our history, and we have this opportunity as we continue to like grow this content war chest to update these things, bring them back in new ways. Like, it's not coincidence that we've ended different things with references to things that we've done before, or like some note that I wrote and signed off with had a reference to a classic raid. Like, we really are looking at the backlog that we're building and thinking about what the future of Destiny looks like and how we're gonna be able to leverage that backlog going forward. And the moon is kind of us like dipping our toes in the water to see how it feels.
The writers also had this to say about what our return to the moon will be like.
How is the moon different compared to Destiny 1 now? There's a lot of people who say, we've already been to the moon. Like,
well, it's twice as big as the moon you remember.
Yeah. Twice as big.
Twice as big. And as you might see, there's a giant red citadel now.
Yeah.
Looming threats. And there's mysterious, like, entities, nightmares that are pushing out everywhere.
Smith also got into where the overall narrative of the Destiny world is headed.
So we've talked about this a bunch internally. Like, we have over the years had kind of like different monster of the weeks is how we described it. Dark Below to Crota, Oryx. That was all just like a monster of the week story. What we're doing this fall with Shadowkeep is, we did put some arrows into flight at the end of Destiny 2, and Shadowkeep is the next chapter in that like broader universe story. Like, we are going to be, peeling back some of these layers over time. The thing that we're trying to make sure we do, and we haven't always done our best work with this, is feel like the universe is going somewhere. Like, people want to feel like what they're doing matters, and that it's heading toward, I don't want to say a resolution or an ending, because I don't think Destiny's heading toward an ending, but heading somewhere where there's going to be change.
Right, yeah.
He also shared his thoughts on Destiny 3.
Anything that we're going to do beyond what we're talking about today is super far out. And like right now, we've really recommitted the team to Destiny 2, the next chapter of it's this fall. We've got plans for where we're going to go with Destiny, and there's a bunch of stuff that we talked about here that we've got to deliver on. And a thing that I will say about the future of Destiny is that vision that we outlined is going to be true no matter what we do. Like, we are making an awesome action MMO in a single evolving world that you can play anywhere, and that's what we're going to be doing.
It also looks like Trials of the Nine will not be coming back anytime soon.
Trying to do with Destiny going forward, like the total plan, aside from the vision, is we want it to be the ultimate version of the game over time, and that's kind of where we're heading.
Okay, but when is it coming out?
Got work to do. Like, we got to repair the foundation.
Let it be known that I tried.
Now, you PvP fans will be glad to hear this. Crucible will finally be getting some much-needed love with changes to playlists, bringing back old modes, and more to come. Hopefully some balancing and some tweaking there. PvP lately has been, man, it's a lot of shotguns in there, right?
We're updating labs to include some much-loved game types from the past. We're also redoing a bunch of the playlists and how they work. But the really important thing for players to know is this is just the beginning. This is us building the foundation of what we're doing with the Crucible going forward.
I think we underserved PvP in the last year. That was a mistake with how we planned out the annual pass, and we're going to correct that starting in Season 8, and then we want to walk around and touch all the other pieces of content.
Okay, and what about the raid? We'll be heading back to the Black Garden, which you D1 Guardians will no doubt remember.
For the raid, we had multiple destinations that we were considering, and Black Garden was like immediately top of the list.
And everyone was like, yes, and I was like, yes, that's the one I wanted.
And there you go, that's it. That's all the good juice from this orange. I want to applaud Bungie for using common sense as far as what the fans want most. It really seems that since leaving Activision, they've gotten a freer hand in terms of giving players what they want. There's one thing, though, that I hope they'd consider adding, something for the veterans. For those of us that have been with D2 since launch, we've given the full price for the game, full price for a season pass of, let's face it, rushed and mediocre DLCs, full price for Forsaken, full price for the seasonal pass. That all adds up to about $175. It was us that supported them so that they could get to where they are now. My suggestion is perks for veterans, at least enough content to make up for Osiris and Warmind. I don't think that's asking too much. You could have a special section on Eververse that new players could choose to buy into, that would have skins, exotics, and, I don't know, engrams maybe? Veterans would get a certain amount of in-game currency each month for the first year, and then pay with silver if they'd like more of that content. Cosmetics, ships, sparrows, etc. I still can't get over the feeling that the scales need to be set and some recognition of the fact that many of us still supported the game even when it was in pretty bad shape. That's just my 2 cents. I know a lot of people feel differently, you know, that's just how I feel. Show the true believers some love, you know? Alright, that'll just about do it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check me out elsewhere on social media, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Those things are a really big help and will encourage me to make more videos. Until next time, happy hunting, Guardians.